Welcome back everyone to our Beginner's Guide to Factorio, episode number 7, excuse me. Off camera, did a little bit of work, as usual. So we set up the power a little bit differently. I now have this fourth column of electric mining drills on the coal, which is getting really depleted. Probably in the next episode or two, we're going to have to start taking advantage of the huge coal deposits we have on either side. But for now, I just kind of bootstrapped this thing. Excuse me. Tried to set it up in a way where we still get enough power going north, and then also still have enough supply heading south. Although right now the amount of iron and copper we have smelted is pretty small. We don't need too much of it. We don't even have that much coal going over to military science now that, well, we haven't been doing very much military science lately. Speaking of science, let's get science rolling. We want advanced electronics next because this is going to allow us to have stack inserters. This is going to open up the door to so many useful technologies. I talked about stack inserters. I mean, it's just nice to have. This is an efficiency bonus. Stack inserters themselves I don't use until, well, I don't really use much at all, but I won't use at least until very late in the game. Or I haven't found great purposes for them, except for, you know, if you're looking at trains, they can be useful. But mainly, once you get the first stack inserter technology itself, then you can move on and get these inserter capacity bonuses. And normally these just affect how many items your stack inserters can pick up. That's the bonus that they already carry with them, is that they can pick up multiple items at a time. But the second tier of this allows non-stack inserters to pick up an additional item, and this is huge. So what we're talking about there, well, let me actually start gunning for that. What we're talking about there is that all our yellow, blue, red, purple inserters are all going to pick up 2 items instead of 1 at a time. When this is happening from the belt, it doesn't work as well because they actually pause. There's like a little chirp in their animation, which means that it's still much faster than picking up 1 and then picking up another. But it's a pick up 1 and then a pick up another. However, moving from like 1 item bin to another, they simply just pick up 2 items at the same time, which is, well, it's twice as efficient. Okay, so that said, well, let's move into the stuff we have. Speaking of inserters, I did get my yellow, red, blue, and purple inserters done in this little setup. You don't need to have 2 yellow inserters being made at the same time. You could probably just have 1 stash for yellow inserters and have both red and blue draw from that. But I did this because symmetry reasons. Okay, this is happening pretty quick. Let's get to stack inserters. Before I had this situation, by the way, with the coal running north, I actually was hitting critical power usage, where things were lagging to a stop. So it's very important that we have enough coal going to our power stations, obviously, and solar power is going to be a huge priority as soon as we get oil processing done, which is what this episode will be about. Now, I also set up, so that was my all my inserters, I should say. Do we need any inserters? Yeah, actually, in fact, we do want some blue ones. Let's just right click to grab that many. That should be enough. Now down here, I'm going to be building electric mining drills. I'm only storing, I am making gray assembly machines, so assembly machine 1 and assembly machine 2, but I'm only storing assembly machine 2. We don't have any stored there yet because I have cut off the supply of circuits, just to demonstrate where that's coming from. I also have pump jacks, which I've actually already used. I'll showcase this a little bit more later, but I already set up the pump jacks, and because it's really difficult to do it in an optimal manner. I didn't do it, I'm sure, in exactly the optimal manner there, but just by intuition. Things I'm going to want, actually, let's just get the supply of circuits going first. So I'll do that. Stack inserter bonus number 1, and then we'll get number 2, and maybe we'll see how cool that is. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going to split off from production. I normally don't like to split off from production directly. I like to split off from the belt. But this is just going to save us the need to go down here, split off, and come back up. So we'll do it in this case. And plus, personal supply stuff is not going to be as necessary. Not as necessary. It's going to not draw as much from whatever as other things because it won't produce new stuff unless I actively need it. So speaking of which, let's get a few more of those. We're down to 26. We don't need any more pump jacks for the moment because I already used all the ones I need. I have a fair amount of electric mining drills. Let's get a few of these chemical plants. It'll only store 10 at a time, by the way, so let's change this. By the way, I forgot. Okay, let's grab fluid. I don't need engines by themselves, but I will take 50 pumps. I did not cut off my red transport belt production, so I mean, I did now, but at first I didn't, so we're looking at a pretty messy situation. That's not bad, though. I do like to replace my entire bus with red belt eventually, especially the iron and the copper, or, you know, the fundamental building blocks of everything. So we'll get to that. I'll probably start repainting from yellow to red off camera between this episode and the next, but who knows? It's something that you can do whenever. It's just gonna, you know, speed up. Obviously, yellow, red, doesn't matter in terms of there's no power consumption or anything. So if you can use red transport belt, then why not? And here's the important one, the non-stack inserters. So we'll get that going. So the question now that we're actually jumping into oil processing, everything else I think I've set up well. By the way, I've updated the map so that we actually have some icons: supplies, red, green circuit, military, gray science, labs, steel, yada, yada, yada. Now the trick I said with this is just to try to minimize the number of pipe you use. And it's kind of, this is traveling salesman for those people who are familiar with algorithms, computer programming at all. This is definitely an extremely difficult problem to solve optimally. You just basically have to iterate through all the different options. Now, we're not machines, we have some kind of intuition, which a machine doesn't really have. So we just use our intuition on just how I guess these pipes will be minimized. It's always good to use underground pipe whenever you can. Now, if you're not moving any distance underground, so we can see I'm not even going one space underground in this particular case. I'm doing this just so I can run between them. Obviously, I can't run between two normal pipes. But anytime you even get one space in the middle, so if this was 3 distance instead of just 2 right next to each other, that's better. That's more efficient because underground pipe only counts for the fluid dynamics in Factorio. Underground pipe only counts as a distance 2, no matter how much the distance actually is. So the amount of fluid stuck in this pipe that is being wasted is only the same as 2 above ground pipes, normal pipes, even if they go like, 20 distance apart. So it's always good to use those whenever you can. There's situations where it doesn't matter much, like if I could not use it here because this pipe has to connect to this one. So, it's still messy, it's still ugly every time you do these, but if you care about efficiency, and you don't have to, you can just kind of wing them together any way you'd like. But if you spend a little bit of time, this is why I did it off camera, because I do spend quite a bit of time doing this. If you do spend a little bit of time min-maxing the distance, okay, now we have all our non-stack inserters are picking up 2 items. We won't be able to see that I guess we can run out and see it real fast. What else do I want? I guess we're going to start just going through all the remainder of the red and green science. Any red and green, I want to say gray, but that's why my tongue is. Anyway, anything which is just red and green now, we'll start off with batteries, because that has some useful things like accumulators I want to get to. Eventually, I would love to build laser turrets. That's more efficient in terms of not actually consuming a raw resource like the bullets do. But let's get that going, and let me see. Do we have anything picking up multiple items? No, not here because, of course. Well, let me do it this way. Let me use the map so we don't have to actually run back. Are you picking up 2 at a time? They are. You can see in the bottom right panel here from 5, 3, 7. So that is jumping up by 2. And so they're actually, you can see them twitch here for a second. That twitch is then picking up a second item. So it's good. It's almost as fast. I mean, it's almost 2 items instantaneously. So, okay, now let's just get this set up by dropping power. Connect it there. One nice thing is if you get all the power connected for all your pump jacks at the same time, before actually powering the whole grid, they have this nice synchronized pumping motion, which is, I think it's kind of pleasing to the eye to watch them all moving up and down at the same time. I left a little gap here because I didn't have any pumps, but we want to pump here. This is going to draw all of the, Okay, good. So what do we want next? I guess accumulators right away. Sure. This is going to draw all the... There's so much pressure on this pump in this pipeline right now that we don't need this right now. We don't need it at all. However, eventually when these things start drying up, this pump is going to suck all the crude out of that line and into, well, this storage container. And though you're only seeing 2 here, and I put down this oil refinery as a template, kind of staging ahead of time where things are going to go. That's because I have my oil station here. For now, we are just pumping in stuff locally, but eventually we will want to pump in stuff. We'll actually ferry it in by railroad, because now they have fluid wagons, so we can pump in. We can actually deliver oil to fluid wagon, which is basically fluid cargo wagons for the trains. And then we can deliver them down here. They'll be sucked out by the pumps and delivered to our crude storage area, which is right here. That's not necessary yet. We're just going to drop down a few more of these, I think. That's probably fine for now. You can see how we're going to want to pipe here. I don't need a pipe for now. I'm just going to do normal. So that, I mean, I guess that's bad to do. We should use pipe, or pump, I should say, because ultimately it's just better to use, excuse me, pumps everywhere you want to use them, so you don't have to bulldoze any pipes, existing pipes. What do we want to do next? I mean, we're just going to go through all the red and green, so I guess we can start doing... electric engine is interesting. We can get robotic stuff from that. What is... The modules are going to be interesting too, because we're going to get speed modules and all that. Lasers. Let's get lasers, because those are fun. So let's research that. Yeah, so what I don't like to do is what I had to do there. I had to actually destroy fluid, and every time you do that, the fluid inside just disappears. It's not like when I right-click and pick up a chest, the items go into my inventory. Well, there's no inventory for fluid, so it does not work that way. Okay, so we'll do that. We now have this being pumped out. Then I want this to go like so, but I want it to be 1 short. And the reason I'm doing this is because... Actually, do I want... Should I do it here first? I think so, maybe. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll do it here first. No, that does make sense. Then I have to do it all over. Yeah, I was doing the right thing, sorry. Don't mind me. I'm just trying to decide where I want to make my line of connected pipes, and I'm going to make it down here. So I'm putting one here. I'm shorting this by 1 and putting a normal pipe there so that I can connect off to the side for all the other oil refineries. We are not going to be using just one of these. I have 8. Some people say 8 is overkill. I'm sure there's factories you can find which have more than 8, but 8 is certainly a high number. You don't need this many. You can probably get away with even just 2 or 3 or maybe even 4, 5, 6, 7. Anyway, but I choose 8 just because it's a nice 2 to the n number. And it works out well. I've never had a starvation of crude because of lack of oil refining. So I do this kind of configuration so that this pump lines up here. This one lines up here. You want them to line up with the left for basic oil processing until we get advanced oil processing, which we really want to gun for. It should be the next thing we can get. The first thing we get with our blue science production. Until we get that, though, we have this basic oil processing. And what did I want to say about that? It's less efficient. The production of stuff is 30, 30, 40. You get a better production of it. I think it's like 20, 20, 60 or something like that. I don't remember, in fact, what it is for advanced oil processing. But mainly everything you want in this game is going to be done with petroleum, that third funky looking product. So the crude, which most people would assume is what you're going to be using for everything, actually needs to be refined for the petroleum, which we mainly want to use it for. The heavy oil is going to be used to make lubricant, and light is also used for various things I can't even remember. I mean, let's see. You can always crack heavy into light and light into petroleum. So normally if you have too much heavy or too much light, you just crack some of that into petroleum because that is the thing which we need the most. Anyway, for now, because basic oil processing is less efficient than advanced oil processing, I'm only going to be using one refinery. Eventually I will have, and I'll just put this as a template here, I will have stuff like this. Whoops, that's not a template. So we'll do this. And these will all have pipes in them, and I might as well just put the pipes down right away. Notice on the left, because when we get to advanced oil processing, that's what I was going to say, things happen, I guess, this is what I've been told, and I have yet to find a contradiction for it. Things happen alphabetically. So if we have oil, or you might even say crude oil, I think it's actually based on crude oil, the C, that's lower in the alphabet than W, water. So although this one only requires crude, which means we could put it in on both sides, I'm going to save the right one for water. And where water is going to come from is, it looks like we're going to have to draw it all the way from over here. So it'll be a pretty far distance, but that's fine because, you know, you have one source of water. I mean, any one little tiny 2-tile part of water, just this much water is enough to supply. I mean, it doesn't run out. Water is an infinite resource, even just having a tile of it. So we don't have to worry about that. We can just push water all the way up over here, and we will do that when we get to advanced oil processing. So the output, this is, a lot of people have their own patterns for doing things. I also have my own pattern. I'm going to do max distance for petroleum. Max distance minus 1 for light, I think. This. No, minus 2, I think, right? Let me think about this for a second. By the way, off camera, I did clear some more of these trees, and I don't even think I cleared enough of these trees. We'll just go back while I'm trying to remember what it is. It's about the outputs and using pumps. Oh yeah, it's the bottom. Okay, yeah, never mind. I was correct the first time. It's max distance minus just 1. No, 2. Sorry, max distance minus 2. We'll see why this is gonna play any kind of role. Actually, it could be like this. It could be either way, though. Well, let's do this then, and this one I know has to be, well, it could also be like this. All right, we'll leave it like that for now. I think that's fine. It's not a huge deal anyway. And now we need this to line up here. We need to pick it up again and go over to this one. Pick it up, go over to this one. Pick it up, go over to this one. Pick it up and go over to, oh, well, that's it. That's the end. So then it goes to here, and that is where these will all be drawn. So this is where my final pump will, this is where the output will be. I think we'll probably drop that one down too, pump it down immediately over here, back over here. And then I'll, off camera to get plastic going, we'll probably steal some coal. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we get too far ahead, let's just finish doing this. So now we do the same thing. Eventually we'll include the ones on the left-hand side too, but just because I'm eventually pumping this over to the right, I have to make sure I make allowance for all the... Was I off? No, that was on. So this one is going to start at the end of the other one. Start at the end, start at the end, start at the end. Okay, leave it there. And last but not least, we have this one, which is going to start at, or it's going to stop at the end. Stop at the end, stop at the end, stop at the end. And this one goes here. Nice. Okay, so next we want to put this like that, which should work. We're going to want to power our stations. Actually, can this go directly? It can't, yeah. So we'll want to power the stations. We'll just do that here, I guess. I don't think it matters one way or another. I want all of these to be powered eventually, so let's pretend this one goes here. I think it can go here just fine. Let's power, I want that free. Oh, can you go? No, okay. Oh, you can go here. Well, that's perfect. Because water is going to have to come in from a different side, so this one is not available. That is available. Okay, that's fine. Then, do we just go all the way across, or do we have a new one here? I think we do a new one here. Same ordeal. Can we do it? Yes, we can. And one more, and one more. Okay, fair enough. So it may look a little funky, but that's fine. It saves us one electric pole not to do it the same way over here. Although, you know what? For aesthetics, what are we really saving it for, right? This doesn't matter. Like so. Okay, good. So now it's symmetric, which people always like. I like. We have 3 pumps we want to put down here. This is going to be connected by this and one of these. Okay. Now well, we'll put this, I know, very petty, but I'm going to put it this side because there's going to be more stuff going out this way. All right, now we have nothing connected here because I haven't connected these pipes yet, but that's fine because we might need to bulldoze stuff, and if I erase anything, if I pick up any of this stuff, the fluid inside it will be lost. So let's leave the fluid disconnected for the moment. All right, I want heavy up here, probably right here. I want, that one will go, let's just put the heavy first. Heavy will go up max distance and then turn and go max distance -1. Because I need, this one is going to just go max distance, I think directly, probably, into this. So that will be where light oil is stored, heavy oil is stored here. We might not even need to store them this far apart. Let's just start off by storing, let's do it this way actually. Do the same thing, damn it. There. Okay, so we do this, this. You know what, we'll just do 6 for now. I usually do, nah, I guess it doesn't make sense. I usually do 2x4, so I do stacks of 8. So do that. What is this one? This is probably going to be then heavy here. Okay, there's heavy. And what's going to happen in between these is we're going to have heavy come off over here, become lubricant, store lubricant, and then yeah, this is all happening a little bit too far away from the main bus. We're moving to the right, and where I want to move is back down to the left, because our main bus is here. Unless, one thing we very reasonably could do is move this bus to the right. It's going to run out of space, but you know, at some point, there's only so many things you can put on the main bus, right? And then we get robots eventually, and it doesn't matter anyway. So after I get 4 things of green circuit, maybe it's possible for me to, that iron here is even like a tempting target to avoid if I just go right before it. But this is such a thick, this is what planning is all about, and half the fun of Factorio, I have to say, is taking the time to devise a fun little pattern for yourself. So maybe it would have been smarter for me to start storing, that's not enough space to store stuff right here. So okay, we're fine here. The only thing I really need to put on the main bus is petroleum. And petroleum is going to happen right here. I'm going to have it go down this way. I'm not even sure if I want it to go to the right, but what we'll do is, I think we'll do it like, okay, let me see. I kind of want symmetry. I like symmetry. So we're doing it always on the top, so that is this one, like so. Which means that this is actually running into the place where I want petroleum stored already. Because I'm going to store petroleum even. Petroleum gets stored by like a huge amount. So let's just leave, if we do it this way, we can just pump it directly in. Is that what we want to do? Yeah, I'm okay with that. So we do it like this. You may think I'm crazy, but we really want petroleum storage. So I'm going to have it like this. Okay, let's connect these so that we have... And eventually you can come in here, you can put a pump in whichever direction you want. Is it probably the right time to even do that now? Excuse me, gosh. Maybe. Which direction do we want things to feed? Better to do all these pumps and everything while there's no actual fluid. I think we're going to want to feed from right to left. because eventually this is going to pump out to the left. I'm pretty sure. Let's make sure that that's the case. Yeah, it'll pump out. I might even have to put a temporary plastics production area. The labs actually may have blocked my... Okay, so what do I do? I go down here with the pipes and draw them all the way over to the left, and then they're on the main bus, right below green circuit. Something like that. Not very well planned out, you can see, but that should work. Let's do it this way. Oh, yeah, but I don't want... I see. The problem is that I want this to be pumped in, and I want it to flow in all directions. So really, we can't have this pumped into the middle. We have to have it pumped into only the end. It does make sense to have this one pumped in. So what we'll do instead is I'm going to take these up and we're going to do it vertically. If you have no idea what's going on, well, I'm almost in the same boat. This is how I don't know why I didn't do this before as well. This is traditionally how I've done mine. Okay, so that, let's do 3. Should be enough. Okay. Oops. Alright, so I'm just going to leave two of these for now, but now I can actually pump from this one. Good, it's going in on the top right. I will suck it out of the bottom left, which is the furthest distance it has to go. And like so. Okay, good. So it'll pump into this one eventually, and then we'll do this once more for another storage. And after that, we'll pump it out to the... Well, I might even just do it here temporarily until advanced oil processing is done. I have some trees to cut down. I obviously need to make sure I have this planned out well. I didn't plan it out well enough. So what's happening, and let's just hook this up so you can see for yourself, is this is going to be oil processing. We're currently just going to be storing like way too much. And before I hook up the last one, I'm going to actually disconnect everything but 2, because I don't want very much oil stored. That may not be true with the petroleum. I may be forced to store a lot of petroleum. I'm taking these away because I don't want that much oil processing to happen with only basic oil processing. It's less efficient. We get less petroleum out of it than we want. So now that that's done, I'm seeing that there's no way around it. An unplugged in, a disconnected or unpowered pump acts as a roadblock. It does not do anything. So none of the oil will go through there, which is good. So I'll leave that fine, and we'll probably just temporarily funnel out the crude to the left here. Make some plastics until I get enough blue circuit to get advanced oil processing. And then we can switch over and make our setup more permanent. I can think about off camera how I better want to do this. But so far you get an idea for what's going on. Over here, lubrication, then cracking to light, heavy to light. Heavy to light feeds back into the light. Light goes down here. Light to crude cracking. And I think you only need like 1 heavy cracking to light cracking, and you need like 4 light, or is it 6 light cracking to petroleum? The ratio is, I think it's 1 to 6. So we'll have 6 of those here for light to petroleum. That'll feed back into these containers, and then that'll be our little setup there. But we're going to need to get circuits for this. We actually have to do some Factorio logic, which is not the part of the game I'm the best at, so it'll be a good exercise for me to try to explain that for you. Okay, I'm assuming that everything's fine now. We are only missing 1 pipe here, and voila. So very quickly here, heavy and light is going to build up. We are missing connection here because we are not getting anything. And there's petroleum. And notice that no petroleum is going here at all because an unpowered pipe is a roadblock. Good. So that is good. We have our refining set up. And in the next episode, what I'll do is off camera, I'm going to need to power some electric mining drills in this coal. It's going to come all the way down. And we're going to have our plastic processing center somewhere over here. Maybe even right here to the right of the labs. Who knows? We'll just start destroying trees all over the place, right? So who knows exactly where it'll go, but we'll do plastic processing, and that normally what I like to do is don't do plastic processing until you're on the main bus. So I might even just loop petroleum all the way back over here and then do plastic down there. And yeah, I'm actually thinking more, the more I think about it, it's hard to do this on camera because it'll take me probably like 5 minutes just to think about where I want to place this, and that's a waste of precious tutorial time. I'm leaning more and more towards shifting this bus to the right, although it will run into the water eventually. I think that that is enough space, especially if we... I don't know how to deal with that. We don't really need that iron because we're going to have this first, which is a ton. And then we also have, I'm sure, other iron deposits. 2 million here we can steal from. Yeah, so this is a low priority one since we have a good backup immediately available to us, which probably we don't even have to train in, but I think I said I would as a nice train tutorial. So we'll probably shift our bus to the right, and then we can put plastic production right here, which makes sense. And then we can have blue circuit production, red, advanced circuit production, yeah, red circuit production right next to plastics. And that can feed directly into blue science, which will feed up very nicely because we know blue science is supposed to be one of those things which, actually, it could go here, but we could also put it, it doesn't matter if we have 3 on top and 4 on bottom, or 4 on top and 3 on bottom. We just need to make sure that we have enough room eventually for 7 different beakers. So we'll get the blue science up and running. I don't know if that'll happen next episode, but that's the next one we really need to be able to power down the research tree. So off camera, what are the things that I'm going to do? I'm going to clear out a lot of these trees. If you want to be bold, go ahead and clear out all of them. Just clear out until like this line where this bend happens. We probably don't need to clear out the ones to the far left over here because I'm guessing now that plastic will happen down here. But who needs the trees anyways, right? All they do is stop pollution, and, you know, although that's actually a really, really good thing, eventually we're just going to eliminate biter bases because this is real world, and we don't need to worry about them respawning. So we're looking good. We have oil refineries set up, as many as we will ever need, and we have the basics for oil processing done. The next thing we need to do is plastics, red circuit, and then get our blue science going. And hopefully that all on the next episode. So until then, clear out those trees, make sure your power is, working. If you want to start setting up some solar fields, this area over to the left is like screaming, put big solar patches on me. And then like I said, I'll put coal down for plastics. There's not even a good alternative besides this for making plastics, so the coal will be filtered all the way down. This will eventually be replaced, the setup we have here, from this one, 3.5 million. Geez, there's so much available. So we'll switch these over. And yeah, that's it. So until the next episode, thanks for watching and take care.